Hello and good morning. My name is Justin. If this is your first time here, so what I want to talk about this morning, I talk a lot about shifts happening on planet Earth and different perspective shifts that happened for me following my awakening experience after living in hell on this earth for many years. So, we're going through a huge shift right now, and there's a lot happening in the world. And what I feel called to talk about today is let the people in false power that are trying to control the population fall out of false power. There is evil people. They're not, and they're probably not who you think they are. I don't think that many of us have ever been, know their faces or their names. They operate quietly, and then everyone else just kind of falls under that. And in order for those people to fall out of power, okay, it is not normal that we are all fighting with each other. It is our nature, and this is what I realized after my awakening. It is our nature to be loving. It is our nature we came into this world pure. It is our nature to be loving. It is our nature to be connected. It is our nature to help each other. And we have been conditioned from the time that we were born to operate in a way that is separate from that. That is what this society is built on. And, it's important, okay? Because things are shifting right now. And it's important that we each become responsible for the things we're feeding our minds with, for what we're doing in our daily life. I find for me at first, a lot of it was because I did start believing that, yes, that's true. That is my nature. I'm not inherently bad, especially struggling with an addiction in my life. We have there's such a stigma around addiction, and it's all of it is set up it's insane. It is so crazy. And it is set up for a purpose of keeping us divided. And as long as we keep playing these games of division and we keep living in fear, we will continue taking things out on each other. And that's the goal, is for us to be fighting with each other, taking things out on each other, picking each other apart, rather than looking at what's really going on. And more of us are waking up to the truth and to the truth of what's been going on. And then that can also feel really overwhelming. But there's no reason to fear. All of this evil has been happening forever. It's been happening, since the beginning of time on this planet. And it was all just part of the process. And the more that we can become responsible for our own healing and seeing that the things we're fighting with each other about are actually we're just projecting anger that is misdirected. It's misdirected, and it's not really about that. All of us, every single human being on this planet, this is my perspective, every single human being on this planet has been traumatized by this system. Okay? Trauma is not just getting sexually assaulted. There is a war on the human spirit that is happening. And the reason that I know this is because all of these darker forces that have been working in this world physically, in the physical realm, the people, and then all the fear that has been kind of driven into the minds of all the people, all of that, every thought that we have, everything that we do, every intention that we have, it creates entities in other realms. And also in us fighting with each other, we are giving more and more power, and we haven't been looking at what's really going on. I feel that it's not as important to figure out what's really going on because nobody's going to give us the real information. The information that I have is literally from tapping into this pure consciousness, and also from being someone who came into this world with a high and expansive vibrational energy and aura about me. Like, however or whatever the reason or how it is that these entities and these things know, but they know from the time that I came into this world. And I remember the first time I saw a healer when I was like 26 or something, and they removed this dark entity that had been attached to me since birth, and it felt like I was levitating through the ceiling. So, and then it was like the way things are set up here, there's a lot of dark forces, and there's no reason to fear them. The fear of them is what creates more of them, and also it makes us vulnerable to being attacked in the physical realm and beyond that. And as crazy as that might sound to some people that aren't into the woo-woo, spiritual, whatever, it's not woo-woo. I mean, it is woo-woo. Woo means the source of creation. So the source of creation. And it's real. And what we've been made to believe is the only reality, and all that, like heaven and all that, all these realms are here and now. Like, it's just, we're existing in one aspect of the whole thing. And there is dark. I mean, I have seen things, unbelievable things. And so there's a lot more going on. And the energetic vibration, and the way that the energy has shifted on this planet, that we're going to be seeing things that's also why, because it's just because of this time. This is how this is supposed to play out. All of this darkness is coming to light. Remember that there is a divine pattern, there is a divine order to things. And this is because this is just how it played out, and things couldn't shift until right now. So there's nothing we can go do to change the past. Okay. The only thing we can do is work on ourselves in this moment. And that's why I also feel that it's so important that we each become responsible for our own energy, for our own healing process, for our own, like, moving out of the fear-based way of living, we've also been taught to seek pleasure in everything outside of us. So we're constantly, because we're just getting through, a lot of times, we're getting through jobs that we hate. We're just getting through the week. We're getting through the day so we can go home, and then we can find some release, maybe have a drink, do some drugs, whatever, because, and that's, I just am inviting you to see that this is not normal. And this is not the way things have to operate. And we're moving into a time where we need to become responsible for recreating a new world. And it's just in the plan. Like, it's already, we just have to step into it. So the more of us that step into our own healing, that can move beyond the fear-based stuff, we bought into a lot of beliefs. We bought into a lot of lies about ourselves over the years. And then we learned to curate ourselves. We've learned to seek pleasure in things outside of us. And like that's where we're going to find our fulfillment, you know. Even when I look at like the insanity of like Jesus's birthday and how it became like a about mass consumerism, like if that's not a sign of, okay, maybe it was like whatever in the beginning, like he was giving, like from my perspective, what I see is it gets us in this mode. Oh my God. I mean, it's our conditioning. Like for us to, even as kids then, because it's like, oh, this is the thing. Oh, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to getting that thing and being good so I can get that thing, and then getting that thing. And then it satisfies me for a minute or two. And then I'm over it, you know, and then I'm looking for the next thing. And then as we get older, it's like sex and drugs and alcohol and thrills. And I'm inviting you to look at it from like, I noticed for me that because I'm a total adrenaline junkie, and I was just wanting to connect with my spirit, you know, like in a world void of spirit, in a world where we are overproductive, a world where we're constantly looking for some sort of pleasure outside of us, even in relationships. Like, we've been conditioned to believe that that's where we find love. And of course we all want love, but that is our nature. Love, unconditional love, is what we stem from, and it lives within us. It lives in our heart. But we've been fed a narrative that keeps us seeking for it outside of us, keeps us seeking for it in a relationship, looking for it in a relationship, looking for it in the next thing, work so hard, you know, so that I can get that next thing. And then if we're being honest about it, you know, it's not fulfilling. And I find that when I find the fulfillment within, the unconditional love lives in your heart. It really does. And it is possible to tap into that love, that eternal energy on a moment-to-moment basis. It takes moving through a lot. It's just the fears, and it's just the way we've been conditioned that's blocking us off from this, accessing this. And the more of us that tune into this, we will see that the narrative that we've been fed is not true. We don't have to try to be good. We don't have to prove that we're good. And it's like we've been conditioned to operate in such a mind-driven way that we end up, I forget what I was saying. I guess I wasn't supposed to say whatever that was. And so this is the way we've been conditioned to operate. So we're constantly looking for things. We're constantly looking outside of us. Those things are not long-lasting. They don't bring long-lasting fulfillment. So I found at first what I had to do was realize, be a heart of service, and serving from my heart to serve because it is my nature. And even when I didn't believe that at first, doing that, not doing it for recognition, but just doing it to do it, quietly doing things, quietly stepping into service, quietly just living from my heart, because I was like, I just know that as I healed more and more, I started to believe that this was actually my nature, and the stories that I had bought into were not true. And for a long time, I believed, especially as a drug addict, I was selfish and self-centered and this awful person. And so I had to do all these things to get out of my selfishness. No. We've been conditioned. We all came into this world pure, and then we've been conditioned to operate in a way that is separate from that. And I'm inviting you to look at, it's not natural. So the more we can move into doing those things, and also rewriting the narrative, and doing the work, because I'm telling you, this is the energy that we're all expressions of. It is eternal. It is part of us. It is within you. So, and I am tapped into it. And it is, I mean, the other day I was like channeling this energy, and like my intention was just to channel this pure consciousness. And I'm telling you, I went into that channeling state, and it was like as good or better as like a shot of meth, which anybody who's done that knows that it is like next. I mean, it is, and it also like makes sense that I would be seeking that, because I know I've been on other planets, and being on this planet after you've been on other planets where people work in collaboration and we live in tune with our nature and we help each other and we collaborate, and then you come here, even with the veil of forgetting, it is your spirit remembers what that was like too. And it's like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And I feel like that's why so many of us that have done that we struggle so much here, because we see the insanity of it. It's not that I was incapable of succeeding in this society. You know, I look at things that the government says about me, and how I'm what does it say? I forget what they even call it, because I can't succeed in this society. So I'm some sort of, I forget the terminology for it, because I haven't had my own place in many years, and I haven't whatever. Okay. For 7 years, I was making 80 grand a year, and I got everything that the American dream said that I needed and wanted and all of it. And I was, because even with being in AA and like following all that, I wasn't connected to God. Like I wasn't connected to the truth of who I am. I was still curating myself. I was still not tapped into who I was created to be. And by that point of doing all that, and 3 years into that being suicidal, I was just like, this is not it, you know? So it's not that I'm incapable of succeeding in this society. It's that my definition of what success is has changed from the BS narrative that says it's when you build a lot and you have a lot of money and you're a billionaire, and those are the people that we look up to. And the ones with the pure hearts, the people that want to help humanity, are literally kicked to the curb, are literally living on the streets. So, yeah, no, it's not. It's not that I'm unable to succeed by their standards. It's that my definition of what success is has changed. And it's crazy. It's insane. It is literally insane, because it goes against our nature. We have a society that has no spirit in it. It is controlled by darker people that have literally made money their God. And then they have tried to become God and put like eyes and ears out everywhere, surveillance everywhere, trying to be all-knowing, and it's just what happens when we worship anything in this material world, power, money, any of it. We have infinite power within us. So the more of us that tap into that, I'm inviting you to please do the work to tap into this and to heal your own wounds so that we can start coming together, because we have to start looking to each other and stop fighting with each other. We really do. Like, if we want to rebuild a new world, we can't be looking to these people that are, I mean, it's not that they're bad. It's that they really have forgotten the truth of who they are. And they're looking for it in power and money. And it's so far gone at this point that they're so enveloped in that. And look at the collateral damage. Look at what's happening to human beings. Look at the way humans are being trafficked. People are sex trafficking, like all of the thing. And there's a lot of it happening. I mean, And I think that it's a lot of times we see this and it's so much that it's just like, oh, and then we just go back to whatever distraction they've, you know, that we have. Like, it's just, and we're being called into a time where it's like, okay, if we're not okay with this as the people of this world, then we've got to come together so that we can stop giving our power away to them. And they're falling out of power anyway. Their time is done. It's done. Like, they cannot exist on this planet anymore. And I don't know how it is that they'll be taken off, or if they go underground or they go to Mars. I don't care. I really don't. And I'm really not mad at them. Yes, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that this is the way, but I just see that, like, they've become a way too powerful entity. And I just know that the light is taking over. Okay. And it's time for them to fall, and it's time for them to crumble. And in order for them to do that, we have to come together, and they can do whatever they want. I'm asking you to consider taking the perspective that, no, they don't get to go to some bunker or Mars or whatever that they've built. Like, they get to go. Yeah, sure. They get to go there and continue creating hell on this earth for themselves. Like, so I have compassion for them. I feel for them because they've just completely forgotten the truth of who they are, and they can go wherever they want. Or believe me, the power of God, the power of this source is taking over, and their time is done. So however it is that they fall away, they will. And we've been put against each other. So I hope that you heal and start coming together, stop fighting with each other, so that, because we have more power than they could ever have. This power, and it is centered in love. We are infinitely powerful when more and more people start waking up to that, because we're naturally, what we want to do is help each other. And when we collaborate in that way, and we're centered in that authentic power, we're unstoppable. And we are a creative force. The creative force that is the universe, that created the universe, lives within us. So when we tap into that, we start coming together. And that's true authentic power. And that is power that will rebuild this world, that will let our mother, our true mother, the earth, flourish again, so she can breathe, so she can, you know what I mean? Like, literally, she's giving us life, and we're just like shitting on her. And this is just the way we've been conditioned to operate, because we're looking for things outside of ourselves. So that's all I have to share today.